Hi, I'm Keith. You might know me from Facebook, and I just want to tell you what my experience was with Facebook Star Wars. And it's been a horrific experience, I have to tell you. uh, so it's gonna be a long story, and this is my first time. No one will probably see this one, but like I just needed to get this out of my head on here, and I hear this is like how it works. Basically, you do something that sucks, and then someday you'll get good at it. And like maybe I'll pay more attention to my growing second chin. And anyway, my story started a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. The year was probably 1978, and my first memory of going to Star Wars was being a little boy whose feet couldn't touch the floor. My mom remembers it too, that she hated that for some reason I took off my shoe. And I do remember taking off my shoe. It was barely one or something like that, and the impulse hit me. There's no thought behind it because I was a kid and didn't have complex thoughts. I knew something happened on the screen, but I don't know what it was. But it was told by my mom that I was quoting it after we got home. I misquoted the quote where Luke swings across the thing and like he has Leia with him. And I said to my mom that he says, "Watch this," but he doesn't say that. Leia kisses him and says, "Good luck." It was amazing. My first real experience of remembering Star Wars was I was a little boy and I was sitting between my dad's legs, using his knees as armchairs. And like the moment where Han swoops in the last second and saves Luke, it made me explode. I looked around the room going, "Holy shit!" Han came back after he says he's going to leave. It's freaking amazing. I love that part. And then throughout the rest, my next Star Wars experience was being a boy. Star Wars back then was still forming. It didn't have like a true form yet. It was like space stuff that other space stuff couldn't like stack up to. It was interesting. So our brains were always focused on it. Like it might have been before we knew more about the Force. We just knew the Force was a thing that could make a thing happen. So the game we played was called Spaceship, and I loved Spaceship, which is kind of like what I modeled my computer desk around. What you basically do is for Spaceship is you get all your toys and whatever, and you cobble them together, and you make your computer console. So either you can be the gunner or the pilot or science officer or whatever like that, and then we'd pretend that the bedroom that we're in or porch that we're in was the spaceship, and then we'd land and disembark, go around the neighborhood or the person's house, which might be a space station. Oh my god, that was fun. Endless stories and whatnot. Empire happened. No, people didn't hate Empire Strikes Back. I don't know where this came from. Well, I do know where this came from. Disney Star Wars has a propaganda machine that keeps punking memes at people over and over again until I see regularly people just quoting memes without actually understanding them or the movies or the history behind it. Um, Also, it's before like there was a boy versus girl thing in movies. Well, I mean, like before I ever cared, or I never. No, I did care when I was a boy. I was like under 4 years old. Me and my sister would have had regular head to heads about like who's better, boys versus girls. My sister would always fucking steamroll the fucking shit out of me, and I never stood a chance. To a point I would cry a lot, and eventually it came to the point where I was just like, you know what? I think we're just gonna call it even then. Like, if I can't beat my sister in the debate on boys versus girls, like it might as well just be that we're even. So I'm not gonna bring it up anymore until the year 2000. What? When the Force Awakens come out, and things like was awful. Instead of like fiction and caring about characters and stuff, the only questions that came up or any critiques were just like, "How dare you question that a woman is a star of something?" Which has happened all my life, and it's been a mystery for me. Like on my Facebook, people just go fucking crazy about it. They're like, "Oh my god, I can't believe you question this. It has to be a sexist reason." And I'm just like, how do we get here? I was talking about the top speed of a star destroyer, and we're talking about if a woman could dye her hair or not. Hold up, what? So anyway, Well, let's go back a little further. Star Wars, what it was when I was a kid, was just science fiction people didn't care about. People knew it existed, but it was just me and my friends who kept on talking about it. We get I wasn't too much into. I was kind of into the toys, which could be its own video. This is kind of fun. I might actually do another one of these, but be more focused next time. But let me do a stream of consciousness and then like see how it goes. And here we go further into the Star Wars universe. Um, what was my next emotions? So like Star Wars as a kid wasn't for me about recreating the exact same thing happened up there. It was like a idea where if this happened, then it's a galaxy, then holy shit, anybody can just step onto the stage and be a freaking hero. The concept of Star Wars is blast at your hip, a sword, and a spaceship and your friends, mainly your friends, and that was Star Wars. It wasn't recreating A New Hope. It wasn't about being overpowered, which people say Luke is, but frustratingly he's not. I guess like my path with Luke Skywalker was fun because like we used to do these marathons where we would watch a movie and like one of my buddies Chuck he comes over sometimes and we do it still here. But like he would come over, we my friends come over, we pick which character we want to be, and then like we kind of act out in the living room what they're doing on the screen. So I picked Luke Skywalker, and I was like, "Yeah, dog! Oh my god, this is gonna be awesome!" I can't believe everyone was such a sucker. Hmm. I wonder if my volume changes, whether or not this is close to me or not. So anyway, being Luke Skywalker, it was horrible at first. See, Luke Skywalker isn't cool. He's a dork, and he's not that strong. He gets his ass whooped up and down the street. So what was fun was like, for some reason, like I'm like, if I'm the main character, then that just means I get to rule the school, and you guys can follow me. So then, like the movie starts, and like I'm going, it goes forever without seeing Luke. So I'm just like, okay. Then he finally does show up, and he's just doing chores, and you're like, oh, yeah, I have an aunt and uncle do chores, okay. And then like he just gets his family wiped out. And you're like, I'm not having a good time so far. But now the adventure starts. I get to go to Mos Eisley. It's gonna be awesome. Watch me. Oh my god! I just got thrown across the bar. Where's the fun? Damn it! And then like my buddy Sean. Yeah, Sean. I remember you if you see me ever. He chose Han Solo, and like dude's just like hanging back in the cut with his Wookiee best friend, and this guy's blaster. He loved doing the scene where he shot Greedo over and over again. When we play Spaceship, he would do that scene. He would set up situations for himself so that he could shoot somebody on the table. And that was like a thing he kept on doing. His other favorite thing was to uh, bang a part of the portrait or bedroom that we're in that was our spaceship, and so it would turn on. Hey, Sonny. So that would turn on, and that was like like Han Solo's favorite thing. Like he tried to get the Falcon to start and then go. So yeah, that was like some of my first memories with Star Wars. Oh, sorry, Suncat the cat here just made me lose my spot. But yeah, Luke, holy crap! So I'm getting my ass kicked the entire movie. I could barely keep up. Finally, he starts doing some things. And the oh my god, cat, you don't go on the desk ever. Hey, animal, get off my desk! Get off my desk! That was weird. It's almost as if she knows sometimes what a camera is. She's an animal. Anyway, I don't know. So, basically, being Luke Skywalker was a work in frustration for 3 movies until finally I got to win in the end or get my ass kicked at the end. I also chose Lando, which meant that like I just wasn't interacting with anybody most of the movie. But oh my god, my friends loved it when uh the final Death Star run happens, and I'm fucking doing fleet action and barrels and whooping ass and saying, yeah. That was so much fun. But yeah, that's what Star Wars was back then. It wasn't like it wasn't there weren't arguments. There wasn't complaining. If you knew something somebody else didn't know, you didn't attack them for it. Like new Star Wars, where I will say, no, that didn't happen in a movie, and people go, oh really? And I'm just like, why is Star Wars like this? It took me a little while to figure it out. Unfortunately, Three Body Problem. This book right there showed me why humanity does that. When there's enough people looking at a thing, you start having a lot of people connected. You see that we're not all doing the same thing. I really thought that I thought that was everybody. Like looking at story structure and caring about like character progression and development and things that made sense, such as I'm into Stargate. I'm having a blast. It's taking me back to like science fiction I used to like, where if you ask why is that, and then like you'd see why there being a reveal in that same story. Whereas in New Star Wars, you'd say, why is Ray so good at everything? And then people go, oh, you don't think women can do things? And you're like, I've never thought that. Yes, you do. And oh my god, it was just fucking horrific. It was a nightmare. My wall would blow up every day almost with just like attacks, like such as um where what I think of women in their society and shit, which has always been equal and whatnot since, like I said, since the defeat of 4-year-old Keith, thunderously. Like the two facts I can't stop remembering my sister said were, um, first of all, Keith, we live longer than you, so I'll probably be watching you die, little boy. You know what death is? Yeah, that was hard. And then the other one was like, and there's always more of us than you. She's gonna jump on the desk again, I think. Oh, oh, she's playing right now. You can't pet me game. So she's staring at me right down from the floor and jumped into my lap instead. Yeah, she never does this. Maybe this is like the first time she's ever seen me talk out loud by myself. It just brings her here. I don't know. Oh, sorry, kitty. All right. So what else is there? Oh yeah. So Star Wars is great once upon a time because it was the ultimate equality place. Like it didn't have our history. I love that. And that's kind of like I think why some of my friends loved going and playing RPGs there. When we play like a medieval RPG, you couldn't help but notice that well, sure, we're on Paladorn, our chosen fantasy planet of choice, and or whatever. And then people will be like, well, were there black people in this village, or what country did you come from? Because I didn't want to play a white character. I always played dark elves, and then just pretended like if I had to hide my ears, I'd be just black. But like, yeah, like all the history was there still, like medieval history where races were divided and whatnot. Then like I loved like the trappings of Wild West, but you couldn't help but know that 10 miles that way, my ancestors are working on a cotton farm, and no one wants to think about that shit. So Star Wars, we could always come to Star Wars. Like you're free there, men, women, black, white. It shouldn't matter because there's no history there. So I'm just as likely to be the leader of a planet as I am a guy, sitting in a gutter, maybe fighting a lightsaber in the trash and then looking up the library and then doing a quest across the galaxy to find out where it was fallen from. I don't know. The Star Wars is freedom. It was beautiful. It was fun. It was awesome. And I loved it because it didn't have the trappings of this world until new Star Wars, where they put minorities on the screen, but block them from the plot. It was really weird and ugly, and hated it. Um, my first instance of seeing this, where like I thought we're in the year 2000 and new Star Wars is here. The world's going to change, and like, oh my god, like equality. This is what you have no excuses to block a black person from the plot. It's everything's open, and like there's enough room for everybody. So originally, like the first two characters were Ray and Sam. Ray and Sam. Uh, a girl who kind of dressed like Luke Skywalker with a lightsaber, I think she has. And then there's another guy who basically looks like young Han Solo. And I think there's either I'm pretty sure they're supposed to be like siblings or best friends or whatever. But that was going to be the original new duo of Star Wars. And then John Boyega is announced. I'm like, holy fucking shit, it's about to happen. I'm about to see a black person get to be a main character in Star Wars. Like, not like added on at the end or kept away from the plot. But like, there's always enough room. So like one person, like Star Wars had laid down the template of like team role playing. So like, and then like so that like everyone has their place, and we work together to make it in the end. So like, if John Boyega isn't the Luke Skywalker, which he lit the lightsaber, and you're like, oh shit, they're really gonna go that far with it. They didn't. You see that, and you're like, holy shit, the world's gonna change. And let's say it is a red herring. Ray's the Jedi person. He's still going to be the pilot. Then he gets the ship, or he gets to be a ship captain. Like in the original, like it took everyone working together to win the day in the end. In this one, uh, everyone was kind of like, well, Finn was kind of reduced to cannon fodder and comedy relief, which happens a lot for black characters, and it's holy fucking hell, it's horrible. I've seen it all my life. I've gotten used to it. I've gotten sick of it. Power Rangers is probably the only franchise to consistently just have minorities be all sorts of different kinds of people without like that being a special thing. Like my boy TJ, my brother from another mother, he was just a guy. He was just a leader, and there was never any kind of like focus brought on. So what's it feel like being a minority and a leader? And it was like, no, he is because he's a good leader, and that was it. I love that shit, and that kind of came to an end in this part of the 20th century, 21st century. I thought things would get better, but they regressed. So Star Wars stopped being a place where you speculate on like what you can be in it, how the galactic civilization works, friendship, which was very important to me, and instead turned into a place where someone could snipe you out of nowhere. Like, so why is Ray a good pilot, sniper shot, swordsman, acrobat, and wrestler and karate person? Does she have some, like, so when you're doing normal Star Wars, you're thinking about like, I was grabbing Sunny hair out of the air. Normal speculation, you kind of go, all right, so if she's this, then there's got to be a reason behind it, and like it'd be pretty amazing. Such as like, someone came after me for this. I said, oh God, I get it. She has all of Anakin Skywalker's traits. Anakin was a super being that got corrupted and turned into Darth Vader. Therefore, she would have maybe those super hyper monster powers that Anakin had, and talents such as he was a good tinker, a pilot, and fighter. And someone says, why can't a woman just be powerful on her own? Why you think it has to be because he's a man? I was like, huh? Why? How does this happen? You gonna get on my desk again, woman? Anyway, and it just kept happening like that. And then people kind of think that I was asking for it by just continuing to post like what I normally say about Star Wars, like plots and writing, story structure, and whatnot. It always get torn down and broken down, especially by one person, into a political debate on women's rights, which I have never disagreed with. I consider myself liberal, but in the past few years, the people I see calling themselves liberal attack people, attack innocent people. They stop caring about who a person might be to break them down into what they can be angry at, and it's just a fucking horrible experience. Unlike 90s Star Wars, which was the ramp of like thing growing in Star Wars. Like you always have to get these bootleg stuff. All the other shows that like wanted to be Star Wars but couldn't be. Almost all '80s like space cartoons, like Galaxy Rangers and um, Mighty Orbots. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that they all were trying gunning for the structure of the expanse of Star Wars. That's like where Transformers came from and a whole bunch of other stuff. So finally, word goes out. Hey, do you want to know what happens after Return of the Jedi? Because I know you do. And I was like, holy hell, we've been speculating, imagining, writing it down ourselves, and daydreaming. Like, what does it look like on the galactic stage now that they've won the galaxy and they have the resources of the Republic? What does their fleet look like? What responsibility does Luke have in recreating the Jedi Order? What does that look like? And we got to see it. Timothy Zahn's books were fantastic. Everyone is acting on point. Like there'll be quotes from the movies, and it's just like being in love again. And I had a great time. Yeah. Also the books weren't all great. I read Timothy Zahn's and like the Jedi Academy. I don't think I went too much further beyond that because I got kind of sick of their small galaxy. So New Star Wars isn't the first time they did small galaxy, which means that the writers think that Star Wars is X-Men, and it's not. Uh, X-Men centers around the same like 7 people all the time because they're mutants. That's the point of the story. Anyway, I don't think I'll be in the home at my house for by myself for much longer, so I'm going to stop now, and we'll create another video some other time if this turns out well. All right, take care.